you know, everybody kind of thinks that you'll never ride again and stuff after that. And I never really had that thought in my mind. If I ever have that thought after an injury or something like that, that I shouldn't be getting on, I won't get on. But I've never had that thought, so I'm just gonna keep getting on. My name's Hawkins Boyce, and I ride bucking horses for a living. I'm 24 years old, and I live in a little town of Malad, Idaho. And it was January. We were in an indoor arena, but the ground was harder than cement. And the first horse bucked me off really hard, really fast, and it hurt. I remember it hurt really bad. I took 2 full strokes, and then she bucked me off right after that. But I remember I was hooked. I was like, oh, that's it. That's all I've ever wanted. That's what I want to do now. It can be scary. It can be a very scary sport. You know, there are a lot of injuries that happen, and you don't want them people to think that it's such a bad sport. It's a great sport. It's a great sport on earth. But to me, you know, that's kind of the original cowboy sport. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, is be a cowboy. And I'm not saying I'm much of a cowboy, but that's all I've ever wanted to do. My grandpa was a cowboy, and so I wanted to be a cowboy. So I was on a horse before I could ever walk, talk. So I pretty much grew up on one. Remember, my mom always tells me the first time that I ever got bucked off, I was about 2, I think, and I was on by myself, and we were all in kind of a line, I guess, my grandpa, my dad, myself, and all them horses walked over to this little irrigation ditch. Other than mine decided to take a big old long jump, and obviously I couldn't ride very well, and ended up on the ground. Mom said I never cried or nothing. They just put me back on, and away we went. Then, you know, I was just young and ready to get on, and I got on a horse called Craig at Midnight at Rock Springs, Wyoming. I don't ever do this, but I looked down at the chutes and I seen her feet, and they were massive. I was like, gosh dang, that woman's got some big old feet on her. So I got in there and I called for her, and she reared out, and she beat me out of the chute pretty bad. And she hit, and she's so much power. And I got my hand out, and I pushed away from her, and she jumped away and kicked at the same time, and she hit me on the right side of my face, right between my eye and my nose, and she broke all of my cheekbones, my nose, one cheekbone on my other side of my face. She broke my orbital. She'd broken my wrist at the same time, and I walked to the fence, and I remember all of a sudden I couldn't see anything because it was all blood. And when I woke up, they'd flown me from there to Ogden Regional in Ogden, Utah. I couldn't tell you how long we were in there before they finally got to do the surgery. We'd got the eye to stop bleeding, and they came in and did the surgery. And I have 7 plates throughout my face. I had my whole face busted up. And I'm not saying I'm very pretty, but I could have been a lot worse. You know, I've broken legs, arms, back, and I'm okay. I think my grandpa told me, never miss the opportunity to pet a dog, pet your dogs, or pet your horses. So my grandpa's name is Quentin Jenkins, and I've never met a person that has ever said a bad thing about him. He'd sit out around that round corral and watch me ride these colts for hours. It'd be 100 degrees outside and he'd just be sitting out there watching me. And if I had questions, he'd answer them, but he would never go into a real explicit answer to me. And at first I was like, man, that don't make any sense to me. Like, why would he, you know, I know he knows how to do it. Why won't he just tell me? And as I got more horses under my belt and I got a little older and I started thinking about it a little more, he was telling me, just saying it the way he would say it, as in, I have to learn on my own. I have to learn that because he does something one way doesn't mean anything. And I miss him an awful lot, honestly. So, one of my favorite quotes that I live my life by from my grandpa is he always said to ride good-looking horses and always talk to pretty women.
You still live by that?
Hell yeah. And that's really, I've really tried to relate my life to him in the fact that I want to be good to everybody. And it's hard because lots of people aren't appreciative of that. And so that makes it hard when, you know, when you do open that door and people just walk by and don't ever say anything. You know, you want to yell at them, you're welcome, you know, but you can't do that. And you just kind of hope that, you know, you do something nice for somebody, maybe they'll do something nice for somebody else.
How far is that?